Also similar, Justin, when the pandemic is over and things get normal, can I receive communion on the tongue kneeling? I have heard in some churches don't allow to receive communion kneeling. What does the church say about it? Does the priest need permission of the bishop? You don't need my permission. I mean, I leave it to the priest really to receive. I'll tell you what, Justin, it's this. I very much understand, and I all over the world when I go, I'm very clearly in Washington, when I say Mass in the Cathedral, I go regularly there. I know there are 3 or 4 people. They stay at the very end of the queue, and I know when they're coming in the queue that they're going to kneel down. So perfect. The difficulty is in very big crowds. If suddenly somebody kneels down, it can disturb the crowd. But it can disturb the order. But there's no need. I understand it's out of devotion, out of respect. You feel not worthy to stand and receive the Lord. Perfectly okay, Justin. Yeah, and so that. But right now in the pandemic, I would say hold on. I mean, I've given instructions. I discussed it with my bishops, and I asked them. I said, my hesitation is really to give it on the tongue because it's very dangerous both ways. The priest sort of could communicate it from one person, communicate the right one person to the other person. When the pandemic of AIDS, or the epidemic of AIDS was there in the 80s, then that's when really the whole sort of permissions for communion in hand came. People discussed it theologically. This is a similar situation. It'll pass off. I'm sure the pandemic will pass off, but that's one of the reasons. So right now in the pandemic, I've given instructions: no communion on the tongue, even on the hand. You've got to be careful that you don't transmit it. We'll see how we do it, and that's it about Justin. And one more question of yours, John 6:53. Jesus said to them, "Amen, amen, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you do not have life within you." Why doesn't the church give both species to lay faithful, especially in solemn masses like Christmas and Easter? What are your thoughts on that? Fine, Justin. I agree with you that we would like to give under both species, and there are rules when the bishop can allow that for golden jubilees, final professions, etc. There's a logistic problem, Justin. Is that the numbers? Our numbers are so big. You can imagine for Christmas and Easter. You mentioned Christmas and Easter. Our congregations are so big. It would take so long the time the service would be prolonged very much. And if you have under both species, because it goes much slower. So that's one of the things. They do it in, I know, for example, on Sundays in many countries, but the numbers are smaller. I give communion, and there in some countries they even give the chalice itself, not intinction. So those who want to receive, those who do not want to can go back. There's a possibility. Now, I want to take this opportunity to tell you, Justin, that theologically, the wafer consecrated host has got the body and blood. We should not think that when we have the consecrated host, it is the body. When we drink the cup, it is the blood. No, it's Jesus' body and blood is there in the consecrated host. Jesus' body and blood is there also in the chalice. That is an important theological clarification that many of us don't understand and keep it in mind. And we are, of course, always, and we are forbidden to consecrate only one species, not the other species. But Jesus is present. You receive Jesus entirely when you receive Holy Communion. But in India, given the numbers, it is a little difficult.